Hello everyone, the 316 here with another LEGO review. Here I have 76316, 316, get it? Fantastic Four versus Galactus construction figure. This set retails for $59.99. It releases June 1st. I was able to find mine early from Target. So in this set you get, of course, the Galactus buildable figure, and you get 4 minifigures. Let's go ahead and start with those. Starting on the right here we have Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal, and he does have an alternate head. He also has a unique torso compared to the others, but it's kind of stretching it. Stretching it. Unique. Speaking of which, before I move on, I did want to show off some alternate heads and hair options. So we have the Doctor Strange hair piece that has the gray temples. And I kind of like how that looks, but the hair, it doesn't you kind of have to move the hair in such a way that it's touching both of the sideburns. And then here it is on the other side, and I think that looks great. I do like this face print. It looks like Pedro for sure. And then if you wanted to see what the Mandalorian version looked like, with the set's hair and with this hair, I definitely like the one that's included in this set. Head sculpt. I review too many action figures. Face print wise, but I do prefer the Doctor Strange hair on this figure. I think that looks a little bit better than what was included, which is kind of the generic hair that we've seen for quite a bit. I'm also not too sure on the skin complexion. I think it looks fine for Pedro, but definitely think that the hair for Doctor Strange looks better. I just have a hairless Doctor Strange over on the left there. Reed also comes with some stretchy bits for his legs. I'm not too big a fan of these. They just kind of look like stilts to me. I'm sure from certain angles it would look good, but I wish we got something for his hands instead. And next up here we got Sue. Sue is mostly reused parts. Obviously the hair, of course. It is nice getting it in this color. Don't see that too often, but this face print we've seen plenty of times before. Oh, and torso-wise, unless I told you, you wouldn't easily be able to see it, but the only difference between these torsos really is the neckline. Everything else is practically the same. So, yeah, he has an exclusive print, which is actually just lacking the white. So, I'm not sure why they did it that way, but oh well. But yeah, there's Sue, and she comes with 2 of her, like, invisible force effects. I'm not sure what her powers are called. We'll go with Johnny next. Johnny here looks pretty good. Wish he was in Flame On mode. But I do like having a non-flame version of Johnny Storm for display. He comes with, the 2 fire effect pieces, which can fling off somewhere that you'll never find them. And he's also got a thing here so you can simulate him flying. And as far as I know, this piece on the back here with the clip, I've never seen that in translucent before. The reason why that's included is to go onto Galactus. You kind of see where, but I'm going to go ahead and stick him up there right now. There we go. Lastly, we got the thing here, and look at how they massacred my boy. I'm not saying it looks awful, but it's just a no for me, dog, It, again, doesn't look bad, but, they could have gave us something else. Like, give us nougat hands. I don't think they've made nougat hands before. Maybe they have, but I'm not quite sure. Instead, we get this fist piece that we've seen for many years. I'm not a big fan of it, and it won't go back in his hand for some reason. Dude, what the heck is with the hand here? There we go. But at least he does get, I think this is a new sculpt for the headpiece. It might be reuse from, what's his name, Korg, but I think Korg his went up a bit more. This one's more rounded rather than being, sticking up. But he also has an alternate expression here with some anger. And you do see a little bit more of the print without that sculpted piece, which I kind of like it without the sculpted piece a little bit more, or like having this hang up just a little bit, whereas when you put it all the way down, it gives him some pretty nasty looking eyebrows. Minifigures, a little bit of a disappointment, I'm not going to lie. It is nice we get new face prints for Reed and Thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, I think, yeah, he's got an alternate face too, which I think this is the Paul Rudd Spider-Man face. Pretty sure we've seen it on those figures before. Ooh, yeah, get him back out there. Let me grab him. I'll just put him off to the side, whatever. We don't need to see the figures right now. Now let's take a look at Galactus. Galactus here. This is the main reason I bought this set. You know, it was awesome that we're finally getting the Fantastic Four and Galactus in Lego, and I just had to have the first set that included these figures. Galactus is huge. Like, he's taller. Yeah, this is an issue I have with this figure, but I'll get into that later. Galactus is huge. Like, he's taller than the box he comes in. Oop, messed up the camera there. Galactus stands... He's like 11 and a half inches tall. Dude's crazy tall. Like, what? Like, just to put that into perspective, here's Atrocitus. He's only about 9 inches tall. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So, you know, big boy, as they say. I'll go ahead and move the box out of the way, but you get the idea. And there's the back of the box. Nothing much else to see. Oh, Fantastic Four logo. Yeah, you get the idea. It's a box, whatever. I think what I really like about this is the included playability features. There's not much, but as you can see that one on the back here, and you can put Johnny up there, and you can, you know, position that any way you want on over. Oop, you can't see what I'm doing. You can position that on either shoulder. So I'm probably going to keep it permanently displayed like that. Not sure where I'm going to put Galactus, but I think, let's see, there's a couple other areas you can put figures. On his arms, let me get that out of the way, come on. On his arms, he's got some jumper plates there. I like to put Reed up here, like he's kicking him somewhere, I don't know. And then in his hands, he also has a stud, so you can have him hold the Thing over here in one and Sue in the other. And of course he's got the fingers to hold them like that. And lastly on the foot, I'm not a big fan of this one, but there's a little pin in there, and you can, you know, stick your figure on there. And I think that sticking the figure there really gives some perspective on just how big Galactus is. Like, look, it's crazy how big this buildable figure is. You know, $60 I don't think is too bad for this, all things considered. I like some of the techniques they used here. These pieces for his little belt. I think that was really well done. Of course, I love the colors they use. There's, you know, the magenta. There's dark red. There's navy. I typically like the darker colors in Lego. So getting this figure with parts in colors we don't typically see is awesome. Like these finger pieces up here. And, you know, these, I don't know, boat things. Also with the thumb, it's on that rounded joint, so you can get a little bit more movement out of it. So you can have him hold something just a bit better. There are some things I don't like about this. Mainly for me, the proportions. I don't like how proportionate, or rather disproportionate, this figure is. Like, his legs are very lanky. His torso is pretty thin. All things considered, I'll do a side view here. That torso is very thin. Like, I'm just not a fan of that. The head looks fantastic. Also, there's a couple parts in here I wish they did a bit differently. So they actually use a sticker up here on his not forearm, bicep. And it's a dark blue piece on a black sticker on a black Lego piece, and it just, you don't really see it. Like, it's not something you would notice right off the bat. They could have left that blank, or, you know, put some brick-built parts in there, but they didn't. Next up, I'll go ahead and just raise this a little bit more. The neck piece. They could have covered up that neck. He doesn't get nearly enough downward to warrant such a big hole where his neck is. The box kind of obfuscates that. The feet. Now, I got flat feet myself, but these are like pancake feet. Like, take out this piece. What are we doing here, Galactus? Yikes. I'm also not a big fan of the shape of them. very flat on the inner sides, and even the outer side for that matter. Dude needs to get some better shoes. Like, he got no feet. He can't stand. He gonna be sitting down. Speaking of sitting down, how about we get into some articulation? So, read off of there. Head sculpt wise, you know, he's got 360 there. He can look down that much. He can look up a great amount though, surprisingly. Arm wise, he does have these like shoulder bits here, so you can get better range of movement out of there. And then you can get some backward, get some forward. The elbows here, if you remove this piece, you can get him to fully straighten out his arm, which is something I might do. But without it, all he can do is get up to... He can almost do a full, I think. The thumb gets in the way, but you can almost do a full bend of the elbow there. He is on a waist swivel, as you saw, and none of the parts get in the way. So you can have him, you know, ass backward, if you will. These skirt pieces, they do go up like that. Uh-oh, he's under some air. Actually, I kind of think it kind of shows off the thighs and how just I don't like them. Like, they're very thin. These are some thin thighs for some long leg. Like, this is the thigh, and then this is the lower leg. Hold on, let me lower the camera again. Big figure, hard to show everything. But, like, he's got such a tiny thigh compared to this long lower section of leg. I'm just not the biggest fan of that. Maybe I might mod this so that the knee is a bit further down. With the waist cape, I guess, spread, he can get a full, and he can get a little bit more. Could probably push it. Yeah, he can get a lot more, actually. A lot more than 180 there. He can kick forward, but this piece gets in the way. You'd have to, you know, push it all the way out and then kick up. Not too big of a fan of that. Backwards wise, a little bit better backwards, but just the same. You kind of have to position it out to get him to kick backward. The knee joint here, it is a ball joint, but you do have a bit of wiggle room left and right. That's kind of why the figure keeps falling over for me, at least. Forward wise, he does have a knee, I don't know, guard, I guess, but you know, you can have him kick his knee forward like that. Sometimes though, this piece, depending on how far forward you put it, it will start to come off, so just beware of that. And then backward, he gets a perfect 90-degree bend, and then no swivel. There's a little bit, but not really. Down here on the foot, same thing like up here. He can't really do a forward and backward bend, a little bit, but not much. But he's got plenty of pivot. He can pivot plenty. Pivot plenty. Let me go ahead and put this down. He's being a little too modest. Let's see. I was talking about the stickers. I'll go ahead and get into those. Oh, his face print. I forgot to take a look at his face print. That's how I view Galactus. He's just kind of indifferent, not mean, just there. That's how I see Galactus, at least. Ooh, let's fix him up here. Come on, Galactus. Stand up. There we go. Stickers wise, not too many. It's mostly just on those waist skirt pieces. There's the two on the bicep, and then there's one on that circular piece in the middle there. That's all the stickers. And then instructions wise, pretty typical stuff. Let's see, 76 pages, 77 pages. Again, not too bad. So, let's see, what else did I want to say here? $60 for this set, I think is good. I'm actually mostly satisfied with this set, other than the Thing figure and just some weird proportions with Galactus. I really don't like those feet. I can modify them myself, of course. I think the arms are good, head's good, waist skirt's good. He's prone to falling over because of those joints in the ankles and the knees there. But, you know, playability-wise, it's a pretty good action figure, if you will. You know, you can get him in some wild poses. You can probably get him to, like, kneel down. Again, the waist skirt gets in the way, but you can kind of get him to kneel down a little bit. It doesn't look great, but you can do it. Get he is a bit fiddly. The friction on these joints, it's a little loose. I'm actually quite surprised how loose the friction on those is. Maybe like a rubber band or something would help with that. I didn't really take a good look at the back of the figure. Honestly, I kind of like the back of the figure a little bit more. It feels a bit more finished. And yeah, there are some parts in here that I do feel are a bit unfinished. Those upper biceps. The sides of these here, they could easily put two plates on the side here and then, you know, used an extra two of these, covered it up. Just having that gray exposed there and looking at it from the front, it just looks a bit unfinished. I mean, you could probably take this whole section, push it up, and then make the proportions of this figure a little bit better. I do like some of the building techniques, though, mostly for, you know, the belt here, the waist skirt. I like how they did that. The hands, they're typical Lego hands, but, you know, you do have that extra bit of articulation in the thumb. And they did do a good job of covering up that joint, even if you can see it from underneath. From up top, it looks pretty good. So I definitely think that this set is mostly worth that $60 price point. You know, if you're waiting for some comic Fantastic Four, go on ahead. But I think this is pretty good for the meantime. I mainly bought this for the Galactus figure, and, you know, $40 worth of parts for Galactus, maybe $20 worth of minifigure parts. I do think this set is worth it. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit the bell. It all helps out the channel. And as always, peace.